Good morning friends, my name is Umesh Joshi and today I have brought some interesting videos for you. These videos are made recently in April 2020 and which is a real challenging time when COVID-19 is causing havoc all over the world. It's forced us to lock down in our houses. There may be some of the unpleasant things happen to us, but at the same time it has also given us an opportunity to introspect within ourselves. Looking into it, I took an advantage to brush up my knowledge on Lean Six Sigma, as I am a Lean Six Sigma black belt, and when I was reviewing all this stuff, I tried making few videos so that it may be shared with my friends and colleagues known to me. Basically there are 3 videos, and when we look into it, there are 3 topics: DMake, hypothesis testing and DOE. These are some of the important topics when we look into Lean Six Sigma. Lean Six Sigma DMake is about 25 minutes. Then hypothesis testing is roughly about 30 minutes. And design of experiments, we also call it DOE, is also about 30 minutes. So friends, I will start with my first video, which is about Lean Six Sigma DMake. And here we go. Hello friends, this video is about some basics of Lean Six Sigma. If you talk about Lean is nothing but reducing waste. It originated in Japan, especially in Toyota production, and it talks about reducing waste. We also call in Japanese it as Muda. Muda is popularly known as WOMPIT. WOMPIT is nothing but abbreviation of W stands for waiting, O for overproduction, R stands for rejects or rework, M stands for motion, P stands for overprocessing, I stands for inventory, T stands for transportation. These are 7 types of waste which are normally present in any process in the world. Here I must tell you that nowadays professionals also talking about one more type of waste. It is the 8th waste, and it's called as underutilization of human resources. But originally in Lean in Japan, this 8th type of waste was not there. Now here there is an interesting relationship between Muda, Mura and Muri. They all 3 are interrelated to each other. By interrelation, I mean to say that they are interrelated in such a way that one causing the another. Where Mura stands for unevenness in the process. I will give you an example of Mura. Like in our supply chain, sometimes there is very high demand of orders. Sometimes there is very less amount of orders. This is called unevenness in the process. Now coming to Muri, Muri is overburden in the process. By overburden, I mean to say that, for an example, some people have very high amount of work, they are overloaded with their work, or few machines are overloaded in the process, and few machines are idle or running with a very less amount of load. So this is called overburden. So overall we can say that Lean is a type of system by which we reduce waste in the system. Coming to Six Sigma, it was originated in Motorola, USA, and later on followed by professionals all over the world. It is a very robust and systematic methodology to reduce variation in the process. We know any process in the world is having some amount of variation. So whenever this variation is affecting our output, our results, our KPIs, we need to identify those variations and reduce them and by reducing these variations we achieve lesser amount of defects, lesser amount of rejections, and lesser amount of rework in the process. So overall, this Lean and Six Sigma are two school of thoughts. Professionals earlier using these two school of thoughts separately, but recently over a few years of time, professionals have realized that these two methodologies are complementing each other, and these two school of thoughts should be utilized simultaneously to achieve maximum benefit while doing any improvement projects. So it is now used by all the professionals in the world together to have maximum benefit with both these two wonderful methodologies to improve the processes, any business process in the world. And all professionals are using these two methodologies, two tools, two school of thoughts together to improve their business processes. Lean Six Sigma stands on a very strong and robust foundation of DMAIC. DMAIC is nothing but 5 phases of Lean Six Sigma, which is define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. These are 5 phases must be followed in any Lean Six Sigma project. We will talk about all these 5 phases in detail in next slides. As I just mentioned that the Lean Six Sigma methodology is based on DMAIC. DMAIC stands for define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. These are basically 5 phases which must be followed for any Lean Six Sigma improvement project, for any business process. Here I must tell you that measure, analyze, and improve, these 3 phases are core of the Lean Six Sigma projects, and typically it utilizes 80% of our resources and time in these 3 phases. So we must understand these are really critical phases. So we will go one by one to all these 5 phases. First we will discuss about define phase. Define phase, as the name itself says, that it defines the problem statement. Problem identification is nothing but selection of a Y measure. Y measure is a dependent variable which depends on certain factors. So it is basically an output of certain factors. So these outputs are measurable, and these are normally identified in my balanced scorecard, KPIs, or performance measurement system. A typical example may be cycle time of a process, productivity improvement in a process. So these are Y measures which normally people select as an improvement project. And based on my Y measure, I prepare a project charter. A project charter is typically a summary of project statement where it tells us about the team, what is the team, which are the members in the team, problem description, what is the problem I am going to solve, goal statement, what are the goals I am looking for, what will be the targets after completing the project. There is a business case described in the project charter. What is the financial benefits the project will be achieving once it is completed. The timeline of the project, when the define phase will start, then measure, analyze, improve and control phases. So a timeline will be there, and then approval. The champion and the process owners. We also prepare a SIPOC at the end of define phase. SIPOC is a high level process diagram related to the process which is we have taken for improvement. S in the SIPOC, S stands for supplier, I stands for inputs, P stands for the process which I am going to improve, O is the output, and C is the customer. So basically it is inputs and output to the process which is under improvement, which I have taken for improvement, and which are the suppliers and customers for this process, customers for the output and suppliers for the input. So this is a typical SIPOC process which is a very high level. Normally people make it in 15 to 20 steps, not more than that. So that is called a SIPOC. Once the define phase is over, we come to measure phase. In measure phase, the first thing we do is the process definition. We define the process which is under improvement, the project which I have selected. There must be some business process which we have taken as an improvement project. We should define that process in a clear and crisp manner. There should not be any ambiguity about the process. What is the process I am going to improve, which I have taken as a project? Once my process definition is clear, MSA is carried out to see whether my measurement system is good or not. By good measurement system, I mean to say that the measurement system should be reproducible and repeatable. Repeatability and reproducibility are two things which professionals see in their measurement system, so that the data which I am capturing for my Y measure is the measure which I have taken for improvement, like cycle time. So I will measure the cycle time. I will capture the data only when my system of measuring the cycle time is good. If my system of measuring the cycle time is not good, I will not capture the data. But I will first improve the system of data capturing, of data measurement, and then I will go for the data collection. So data collection will only be started once my measurement system is good or effective. So there are two kinds of Y measure which are possible in business scenarios. Those are discrete type of data. Discrete type of data means go, no go, yes, no, okay, not okay. And second is continuous type of data. Continuous type of data is like time, length, weight. These are continuous type of data. So for discrete type of data like yes, no, okay, not okay, we carry out attribute agreement analysis. And for continuous type of data, we carry gaze R&R study for looking into our measurement system, whether the measurement system is good or not for my data collection. Once I collect the data, then we go for the baseline performance, like what is the performance level of my business process as on date. As on date, without any improvement, what is the performance level of my business process? The baseline performance is normally measured in three types. The one is sigma level of the process. Sigma level of the process can be measured for any type of data, whether it is a discrete data or a continuous data. The second type is CP and CPK. It is the process capability of my process. It is done for the continuous type of data. Then third one comes the FTY and RTY. FTY stands for first time yield and RTY stands for rolled throughput yield. Performance measurement is the last step we do under measure phase. So in this way my measure phase is complete, and as an output we get as is process of my Y measure which I am going to improve. So as on date, what is the baseline performance of my Y measure? I know clearly with the clear definition, with clear SIPOC, with a clear measurement system. I know what is the as on date performance of my process. So in this way the measure phase is over. After that we come to analyze phase. Analyze phase is in a way heart of the improvement project of the Lean Six Sigma DMAIC process, because here we are going to have a relationship between Y and X. Y is my output, my response, my measure based on balance scorecard, KPIs, performance management system. What is the response variable or dependent variable or output of the process? So Y is an output of my process, and X is factors which are independent. Those are independent variables, independent factors which are causing Y. X impacts Y. If X changes, Y also changes. So this relationship is very important, and all the Lean Six Sigma projects are defined as Y is equal to function of X. That means there are certain X factors which are impacting my Y measure. So the whole idea here is to find out which are these X's. So these X are to be find out, and then once these are X are found, then we find the way to how to reduce their effect on Y or improve Y based on X. Here we find out the potential factors through brainstorming, then we make some affinity diagrams, then we make some Ishikawa, which we also call it cause and effect diagram, because after brainstorming we get the idea about which are the potential factors, and we group them in an affinity diagram, and after the affinity diagram is made, we group them in a cause and effect diagram. And once my Ishikawa is ready, I plot a Pareto. Pareto tells me that which are the key elements, key factors, key areas which need to be dealt first. It tells me the preference. What should be my preference? My preference about selecting the things which are to be taken care on priority. And based on these Pareto, then I take one by one. We must tell them through 5-5 analysis. 5-5 tells me that what are the element level factors, which are the bottom lining factors, which are the real factors, which are independent, which are affecting my Y measure. We also make fault tree diagram, process FMEA. These are all tools which tells any professional about the potential X factors. We also carry out value add, non-value add identification for the process. The idea behind that, we need to segregate the non-value added activities, which ultimately reduces the waste, which we also call WOMPIT, 7 types of waste. Once the potential factors are identified, the next thing we must do is validate the factors, whether these are the real critical factors which are affecting my Y measure or not. There is a very important tool in Lean Six Sigma for that. It is called hypothesis testing. This hypothesis testing tells us whether the factor which I have selected, which I have identified, is a real factor or not. Real factor means whether it is a critical factor or not, whether it is really impacting Y or not. So this is one of the most powerful tool for Lean Six Sigma, and we must have a fair amount of knowledge of this tool. What is this tool? How to use this tool? For which type of data? What tool to be used? Because there are discrete type of data, continuous type of data. So it tells us about how to validate the factors to find out the real critical factors. So once the validation of the factors is over and we carry out this all testing and find out the critical factors, then we find out the rationale of critical factors with respect to business case, whether really these critical factors which I have identified, it is worthwhile for my business, whether it justifies my business or not. So a rationale must be done before moving ahead to the next phase. The next phase is the improve phase. Improve phase is also a very, very critical phase where we find out the solutions, then we evaluate the solutions, and we also do the mock trials and pilot. It is one of the very, very critical, I am again repeating, very, very critical phase for any improvement project, because here the real creativity, real innovation, real thing happens, which is really going to improve my business process. The goals which I am going to achieve are through improve phase. So the first thing we do is find the potential solutions. It is normally done through ideation. Ideation means taking ideas from team members. Second is benchmarking. Here benchmarking may be internal or external also. We look out for the similar process within the organization or outside and try to see how we can benchmark it. There are other tools also to find out the solution. One very popular tool is process modeling and simulation. There are some readily available softwares in the market like iGraphics, Arena, Crystal Ball, which uses discrete data modeling and simulation, and also Monte Carlo simulation. The next tool comes design of experiments. Design of experiments is a very powerful and useful tool for finding out the solutions. As I said earlier, there is a relationship of y is equal to fx. Here y measure is impacted by x factors. The design of experiment uses the same formula, y is equal to fx, and it finds out the x factors which are impacting my y measure. In this way, it clearly identifies the factors which are impacting my y measure, and we also predict the responses Responses here means output. Responses is Y measure, and we can also optimize the responses based on the X factors. It is one of the very vital tool. We know it as DOE also. So this DOE we will look in detail in a next video. Once we find the solutions in the above step, we carry out evaluation of solutions. So there are few tools which we use for evaluating this possible solutions which we have found out. For comparison, we use Pew Matrix. For consensus building, we use multi-voting or nominal group or Delphi technique. And there is one popular tool for evaluating the risk is called process FMEA. So there is a number which gives us the ranking of different risks involved in the process. It is called a risk priority number, or we call it RPN number. So through RPN number we can evaluate the solution whether it has reduced or not. So it gives us a ranking of different solutions. Then once the evaluation is done, we know which are the best possible solutions in the circumstances. We carry out mock trials and pilots. Once the mock trials are done and pilots are implemented and all the results are successful, we know that our results are achieved, the goals are achieved as per the business case which we have described in the beginning during my define phase. So once that is achieved, we know that my process is improved and I implement it to the mass production, and we declare that the improvement is being implemented wherever required. Once the implementation phase is done, that means my improve phase is over. After that we come to the control phase. Control phase is nothing but the sustaining of the improvement which we have done till now. So we must sustain it. So there are certain guidelines, certain systems, certain steps which we follow to sustain these improvements. In improvements, basically we need to control the critical factors. Axes, we call it axes. X means factors. So these axes we need to control. So there are certain tools like process FMEA, control plan, statistical process controls. Under it there comes control charts, then capability indexes, CP, CPK and PPPPK. So these are certain tools which we need to implement for the X factors which need to be controlled. There are certain other techniques we know as Poka-yoke and automation and autonomation. So these are some few other tools which we use to control the critical factors in the process. Once we know that we have put sufficient controls over the factors in the process, then we make a summary sheet where we declare the financial benefits which we accrue due to this project, and we present it to the management. We also list down the lessons learned, and we also horizontally deploy these improvements to other areas. Once this is done, and the last step is to transfer the improved process to the process owner by the Six Sigma team. And thus, once the project is transferred to the owner, the project stands closed. So we have just discussed the Lean Six Sigma DMAIC methodology, which is define, measure, analyze, improve and control. These are the typical 5 phases we must follow for any Lean Six Sigma project. Thank you for patiently listening this DMAIC methodology. In my next video, we will be talking about hypothesis testing and design of experiments. Thank you for watching.